Once again, we
Oh
back.
yeah. Oh
Fly
yeah.
Free Sports, man. Ben, my co-host, man, my esteemed. I'm sorry, Ben, my esteemed co-host, Ben, man. What's going on today, man?
It's all right. I know, this shirt is way too bright for this podcast. It probably threw you off.
Nah,
Um,
we need that.
I try to go to the library in this shirt and they kick me out. It's too loud.
We just talking about Nickelodeon too.
Oh yeah. 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 Well, there you go. This is Nickelodeon orange for sure. And that wasn't intentional.
Yeah. Right before we came on air, Ben was telling me about they broadcast football games on Nickelodeon, NFL games. I had no idea. Like that was
Oh
some new
yeah.
information. So
Yeah. It's crazy. So before we get started, another fun fact I just learned tonight. You have NBA playoffs, you have Major League Baseball playoffs, you have NFL playoffs. There is no such thing as NHL playoffs. It's called the Stanley Cup playoffs.
okay.
Just found that out today.
The Stanley Cup playoffs. All
This,
right, NHL.
that's what it's called. I
So
don't know how long they've been calling it that, but that's what it's called.
they just better than everybody else. So now it's gonna
I,
be the Larry O'Brien playoffs for basketball. Like, what are we doing?
I, I don't know. That's hockey's different, bro.
Yeah, that's that Canadian shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Another week, man. Another issue to tackle, or more issues to tackle, should I say?
Hmm.
Round two is officially underway. I believe last time we were just about to go into round two. So
Hmm. Yep.
things are is heating up. It's heating up to say the least. Boston and Cleveland is playing right now.
Hmm.
Boston up, of course. I think that might end up being a 4-1. But Cleveland is just a team I don't trust. Just going down the line, the Knicks
Hmm.
are up 2-0 on the who the hell are they play? Indiana. Like
Hmm.
I don't another team I don't really trust. They're young, they're up and coming, but they're not ready yet.
Yeah.
Out west, you got OKC up 1-0, and they play later on tonight against Dallas. Luka
Hmm.
Kyrie, or Lukai, as Ben would like to say.
Lukai.
Lukai, yeah. So that's a 1-0. And then of course the shocker of the playoffs, or some say it's not even a shocker really. Minnesota up 2-0 on the defending champs.
Yep.
Kind of like a do or die game tomorrow for Denver.
Hmm.
So let's just start there. Let's start right there.
Yep.
Let's keep it right there. Very surprising to me. I put money down on the series, which is not looking too good right now. Um, the Nuggets down 2-0 is a shocker to me. Now, like I said, I know a lot of people aren't shocked, but um, it's kind of. I think Mike Malone has to make adjustments. Obviously, I think the first
Hmm.
thing that he needs to do is take Jamal Murray off of the ball,
Hmm. Yep.
run more of the action through Nikola Jokic. I think I mentioned it online too as well on socials.
Hmm.
I think he needs to run the majority of the action through Jokic. That's how they get their best shots. He's a threat with the ball in his hands. High post. Go to the high post as
Hmm.
often as you can. Keep
Yep.
running your pick and roll. Keep spreading the floor. Jokic has to have control of the ball and control the outcome of these plays, because Jamal Murray is in a funk right now, whether it's just a slump or whether he's having difficulty with the length of Minnesota.
Hmm.
Either way, that adjustment has to be made, and the role players obviously have to step up. Reggie Jackson has been horrible, and he's Jamal Murray's backup. So when you
Hmm.
got your point guard and your backup point guard playing like trash, that's already a recipe for disaster. Um,
Yep.
I don't want to strip Minnesota of their credit because
Hmm.
they've been balling out. Obviously, I got some things to say about Anthony Edwards after I let you go, but yeah, they've been balling. Defensively, they're clearly the best team in the NBA defensively. There's no
Hmm.
debating that. They have all the length, like I said. Everybody locks down. The traps are super efficient. What else can you say? They're dominating the series right now. But I'm looking for Denver
Hmm.
to win tomorrow. How you feel about the series so far?
Yeah, I'm also very surprised. I think that if people are saying that they're not surprised by this outcome, they're delusional basketball fans in general, or they're just hardcore Minnesota fans, which is fine. It's
Right,
okay. It's all
right.
right. Um, I think that I think that we expected this to be a hard fought series. I think we both predicted Denver to win in 6.
Mm-hmm.
So we weren't expecting Denver to just like roll these guys over.
Right.
But you don't expect the defending champs to drop 2 games at home in a series like that. Especially the way that they've been beaten. Like they have been dominated so far this series. Is not just people will look at the stat sheets and say, okay, well, Anthony Edwards is averaging 35 in the series. Yes, he's a nuclear bomb. Has not stopped going off since the playoffs started, right? Like he's had quite the playoffs this far.
Right.
But yeah, you expect that to happen. You don't expect a team to be outmatched at every position on the floor. The way that Denver has looked outmatched out there. Like it's embarrassing. Like these are the champs. They're getting like they're getting the shit pushed in. Yeah,
right.
It's terrible. You said it. Game 3 is a must win for Denver. I still think that the team that goes to 3-0, I think is still undefeated in the history of the NBA playoffs. I don't think no one's ever come back and won 4 in a row.
It almost changed last year in the Miami Boston series, but of course Boston choked in Game 7. But
so, well, there you go. So, it's a must win for Dallas, and I think they need to like watch like some old like 90s and 2000s like Duke basketball games, right? You got to get that motion offense going, bro. You got to get that ball or some triangle, something. You got to get that ball moving.
Exactly.
Because like you said, Minnesota is clearly the best defensive team in that's playing the best defense. Last week I talked about people that are playing at a championship level. Minnesota is playing defensively at a championship level right now. That's scary, and it's gonna you can't just say, oh well, let's just score more points to overcome their defense, right? Like you've got to make some major adjustments there.
Absolutely. So, agreed on all points, man. Like I said, they got to get Jamal Murray going in a different type of way. Like him being in control of the offense and trying to create for himself is just not working against this type of defense. So, Coach Malone has to go into his bag of tricks, man, and figure it out. I trust him to make those type of adjustments because he's shown that he's able to do that. He's a championship level coach. So, like tomorrow is obviously the must win. I want to see Reggie Jackson play better. I don't know what the hell is going on with Reggie Jackson, but like my God, I think he's scared of Anthony Edwards or something. He falling down on his knees and getting pointed at, and like, what are you? I've never seen him play that bad. And Reggie Jackson is a highly skilled player, man. It's like, damn, like you making you look like a toddler out there. Like that's just
they just look demoralized, which is really it's so unusual to see this team look like that. Just like they just got their soul snatched out. I mean, you only managed to score 80 points when their best defensive player wasn't even in the building. Like, that's
crazy. That's nuts.
Whatever they had to summon to win that championship last year, they're gonna have to summon it tomorrow night. And I think that they will. I think they'll rise to the challenge and find a way to win tomorrow.
I think they will too. I'm not just saying it because my money on the line, but you know what I mean. I think they will. I think they will figure it out. I was gonna say something else. Oh, I was watching another pod, and Jeff Teague was saying how Aaron Gordon needs to be on Anthony Edwards, and I'm like, I don't know if he has the foot speed to really stay in front of him. He obviously has the athleticism and the length to make things difficult, but keeping him out the paint and keeping him from the rim is like I don't know. I would probably suggest Peyton Watson be on him a little bit more because he's like the standout on-ball defender of the team. So his minutes may have to go up a little bit just because of defensive purposes. Hopefully he can knock down shots when they're given to him. But I think that's another one of the adjustments that needs to be made. They got to figure out how to neutralize Ant. Even though like last game they were down 20 and Ant had 5 points. I pointed that out too. I know everybody want to give him the credit and all that, but they were down 20 points and he had 5 points at one point in that game. And then he got going and he got rolling and this shit was really over from then. But yeah, I just want to point that out too.
I think I'm going to disagree with you a little bit there. For me, I don't think that they should be spending any energy making defensive adjustments against Anthony Edwards. They should be focusing all their attention on making offensive adjustments to score more points. They've got to figure out how to increase their offensive output. That is the pressing issue right now for the Nuggets. Minnesota scored 106 points each of those 2 games.
Right.
That in this NBA, that's not a high
At
volume of points
at all.
right?
If you look at these over and unders from these games, like
Right.
shit.
Yeah. You got to figure out how to score 110. That's what you need to be focused on. So and there's different ways to do that, right? Whether that be through, if you want to just get hot from 3. I mean, Denver's not known to be a big 3-point shooting team. Drawing more fouls, you got to create more possessions, get better shots. They need to, in my opinion, they need to focus all their attention on getting better offensively, figuring out how to solve that defense.
Right. And make the game ugly. Yeah, make the game ugly, man. Make the game ugly. Like there's too much complaining after calls not being called, and it's just a lot of shit that's going on. That's, like you said, uncharacteristic of Denver. So I think they just need to get back to what they do.
Yep.
Make the game. Don't be afraid to make the game ugly, because Minnesota's some rough riders, man. Like you see Naz Reid out there. Naz Reid has been killing them. Like especially in game 1. Like this nigga scored like 12 points in the 4th quarter. Like you cannot allow that.
Right. Yeah.
Whether Ant is going off or not, them role players, you cannot let them get 12 points in a pivotal 4th quarter. That cannot happen.
Yeah. Well, again, so a lot of that is, transition offense. So you get all of these defensive stops, these missed baskets, and that leads to, free flowing offense, getting easy buckets on the other end. Right. So it's, I think a lot of people who watch basketball or have opinions on basketball, they treat it like football, where it's okay, you have an offense that goes out, and then if they can't score, then the defense comes on. Like the NBA is not like that, right? Offense and defense, that transition can happen in a split second, right? And if you create a turnover if you commit a turnover on offense, that gets converted into points on the other end way more easily than any other sport, right? And so if a team is getting easy baskets, it's not necessarily because they just have more talent than you. It's because they're creating that offense on the defensive end, right? So again, for me, it's all about Denver's got to figure out how to crack that defense and get better shots and create more possessions for themselves.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Those swings in the game where you miss and all the outlets, those swings in the game determine the majority of the games. So, yeah, that's a very, very good point. And I just want to say one more thing about this shit, and it's really been getting on my damn nerves. Can y'all please, I'm begging y'all, please, man, stop comparing Anthony Edwards to Michael Jordan. You niggas see something on ESPN and y'all just run with the shit. Like, I don't know what it is about Stephen A or whoever is giving y'all these ideas that make y'all go on the internet and spew these bullshit opinions, but can we pump the brakes on Anthony Edwards being Michael Jeffrey Jordan? Man, please. Like, this shit is, I'm tired of y'all disrespecting Michael Jordan. I feel like I come on here every week with somebody disrespecting Michael Jordan in a different type of way. Like, y'all niggas find new ways to disrespect Mike every week. It's like, damn, like, I get it. The league is hungry for a new face. We get it, man. This nigga's 22 years old and this is his first real playoff success. Why the fuck we got to compare him to Michael Jordan, man? And then I hear niggas with the excuse like, oh, he 22. He's better than Mike at 22. How? Mike was hurt the year he was 22. He was hurt that year. And he came back the next year and averaged 37 points and averaged over 30 for the next 7 years. Like, what are we talking about? Can y'all please, man? I'm begging y'all, pump the brakes on the Mike shit, man. Like, can we do that? Let him grow, man. Y'all gonna make me not like this nigga. This is how the LeBron shit started. I like Anthony Edwards. I like his game. Like, I appreciate his game. He's a killer. I love it. You know what I'm saying? But the way y'all gonna make me not like this nigga. I'm gonna hate this nigga by next year. Like, y'all gotta stop this, man. And it's no fault of his own. He just hooped it. You know what I mean? He asked for that. In fact, he said stop. He said stop.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So again, I'm gonna disagree with you one point that you made, and we don't typically disagree on things. So this is kind of an interesting night.
Mm-hmm.
You said that this is disrespectful to Jordan. I have a different take. So I remember when Vince Carter was a rookie. I think that was 1998. I think because him, Paul Pierce, and Jason Williams, White Chocolate, they all came. I think they were all rookies the same year. They were in the same draft class. And I remember as early as that second or third season, people were saying is Vince Carter the next Jordan, especially after he won the slam dunk championship. But Jordan was still playing in the league at that time.
Right.
Right. So it's like, okay, this and so even then this conversation started with, okay, who's going to be the next Jordan? Right. And Vince was like one of those first people. I want you to notice that they're comparing this dude to Michael Jordan when there's a whole LeBron James that's still playing in the league. No one is comparing anybody to LeBron. Nobody's saying this guy's the next LeBron.
You just gave me a new angle.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, for those who want to have this ongoing argument about who's the GOAT, I already gave you one piece of evidence last week. You never seen a pair of fake LeBrons. This week, the dude's being compared. He's not being compared to the guy that he's playing in the same conference with, right? He's being compared to the dude that has played college, played 13, 14 years in NBA, started a shoe brand, bought an NBA team, and sold an NBA team. Like, Michael Jordan is eligible for Social Security, and this dude is being compared to that guy instead of the dude that's playing in the same playoffs with him. Like, I just want y'all to chew on that.
I want to personally thank you because I've never been more happy to be disagreed with in my life. Man, that I don't even know. That's a mic drop right there. Like, I don't even know what else to say. Like, but yeah, that's true. That's
Michael
truth,
Jordan.
Man.
He's like Bret Hart. He's the best there is, the best there was,
and the best there ever will be.
Like, he will always be right. He will always be the litmus test to be compared against when you talk about GOATs. After we're both dead, people will still be saying the next Michael Jordan.
Yeah. I mean, what else is there to say? Yeah, you niggas are stupid. Like, that's basically what he said in short. In short, that's what he said.
Oh man.
Yeah, been a little nicer than me. Y'all niggas are stupid.
I'm not that much less savage than you, but I'm just, it's your show, so I'm trying to,
Man, hey, we trying to get ratings, we trying to get views, we trying to get all that. Like, hey, let it go, man. You know what I mean?
All right, fuck y'all LeBron lovers, man. Y'all ain't shit. All right, there we go.
Yeah, man, but y'all got to pump the brakes, man. Anthony Edwards, he nice, bro. We concede that. I mean, you can't argue against the kid, man. He's 22 and doing shit that a lot of guys are not capable of doing at 22. But I'm gonna tell y'all two things: he ain't Michael Jordan, and he still ain't better than Ja Morant. Now, next subject.
Next subject.
Also out west, we got OKC and Dallas. That's a firepower ass series right there. Like, and I chose OKC obviously in the series because I feel like they just have way too much for Luka and Kyrie to withstand. I don't think they have enough help to beat Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren and obviously Shea. The other Jalen Williams is right, and he hooping now. I mean, it's an onslaught. Josh Giddey, he contributes enough. They got so much, man. It's just gonna be hard for Dallas to overcome that. Now, obviously, high level scorers like Luka and Kyrie, you're not going to be able to stop them for a whole series. So I'm giving them their respect off top. They will win at least 2 games in this series. I'm calling that right now. Pick OKC in 6, but I just think ultimately they have way too many weapons, way too many looks, way too many things they can do to counteract what Dallas can throw at them. So, yeah, I think and tonight should be an interesting game to see how Dallas responds to the way things unfolded in game 1. But I expect OKC to win tonight as well. I don't know if they'll cover the spread, which is I think like 5.5. All you gamblers out there, I don't know if they'll be able to cover spread, but I do have OKC winning. They're a pretty good home team. Yeah. What you got to add about this series, man?
I agree with everything you said. OKC, like, that was a beatdown the other night. Luka looked very despondent after that game. He looked like physically tired and beat up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Clearly, the defensive plan for the Thunder is to put Luka in a bottle, right? To get the ball out of his hands, to make it difficult every possession, throwing multiple bodies at him. They're clearly trying to get him out of rhythm, right? They're trying to speed him up and get him out of the rhythm of his game. Um, Kyrie is he's just Kyrie. There's not really a whole lot you can do.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me a lot of like Serena Williams if she was in her prime. Like that first 10 to 12 years of her career, like no one in that era has ever beaten Serena. The
Mm-hmm.
only time that Serena lost in that era is when she beat herself through unforced errors. but no one could touch Serena like 2008, 2009, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever beat her. She always beat herself.
Yep.
And that's what I see with Kyrie, that you're not going to stop Kyrie. The only
Right.
person that can really stop Kyrie is he just shoots himself out of a game
Right.
and takes poor shots. He seems to have somewhat resisted that temptation so far in the playoffs. He seems to have bought into the team culture as far as I can tell. But, when the chips are down, they go down 2-0 in the series. You never know when that Hotep Kyrie might come back, right? You know what I'm saying?
True.
He might,
True.
he might start, he might start going off on his shit. So we'll see kind of what happens and how the team's going to respond. But I think we both said before the series started, Dallas don't have nothing for these boys.
Mm-hmm.
They're going straight to the Western Conference Finals, and that's going to be an amazing series to watch. But Dallas is like I said, they're going to lose in 6. They're going to get a couple games,
Mm-hmm.
but that's going to be about as far as they're going to go.
Yeah. I think Dallas is full of potential though. I think if they can figure out a way to add a couple more pieces in the off season to go along. I like PJ Washington being there. He's a good third or fourth scorer on the team.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tim Hardaway has to go. He really doesn't serve a purpose anymore. Yeah, so I mean, there's things obviously they have to do with their roster to compete at a championship level. I don't think they're quite there yet, but they're on track though.
One more thing I wanted to point out about OKC. Shea has an extra chip on his shoulder he can leverage for the playoffs now that Joker has been named the MVP.
Yes.
That is additional fuel. As if this team didn't have enough chips on their shoulder, right?
Right.
That's just an extra log, and they've got in the fire to kind of prove everybody wrong, which is why I think they're going to be absolute juggernaut in the playoffs.
Agreed. And we've been talking about that all year, man. As far as Shea being the MVP, he definitely should have won. He definitely got snubbed for MVP. All respect to Jokic. I think Jokic is a top 3, top 5, whatever you want to say. He's there. But if we're just talking this year in impact for this particular year, it's got to be SGA, man. There's no way. There's no way around it. They're the number 1 seed, average 30 plus, like 5-5 or 5-6. Like it's just,
Yep.
I mean, I don't understand. I don't even know how they judge MVP anymore. I don't know the criteria for this shit no more. Like you can't say, oh, it's team success and not vote the guy that's number 1 in the tougher conference in the NBA MVP. Like it's, to me, that's just crazy. I don't get it, but he definitely got snubbed. This reminds me of not quite so egregious, but the Kobe snub to Steve Nash.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can never forget.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that, even though Jokic, I think, is a little bit more deserving than Nash was at that particular time. But it's still in the ballpark though. So
it's about agendas, when you think about everything that was happening, because I'm trying to remember the exact timing, but I believe that all that happened not too long after the whole Colorado scandal happened with Kobe. And so there was definitely an agenda to kind of take some heat off of him and want to, the nice Canadian dude, right?
Yeah.
Let's give this guy an opportunity. But anytime people bring up Nash winning the MVP, I always remember there was a picture I saw on social media where Nash is holding up the MVP title. And instead of, I forget who's on the MVP title, who there's a person that's like shooting a shot on the title. They superimpose a picture of Kobe dunking on Steve Nash.
From that
oh,
playoff. Yeah.
my God. Yeah. So anytime people bring that up, I always think about the picture where he's holding up a title of being dunked on by the person who should have won the MVP.
Like Steve Nash over Kobe in anything is just blatantly disrespectful. Like, I don't know what the hell. Yeah.
He's a nicer guy.
And that's about it. That's about where it ends right there.
He's probably a better neighbor than Kobe Bryant.
and that's about it, man.
That's about it.
Yeah, Nash. I mean, salute to Steve Nash. Steve Nash was a great player. I don't want to take nothing from Steve Nash, but you're not Kobe, and you damn sure wasn't Kobe that year. I mean, you got two, nigga.
Right.
I mean, damn.
That's all right. Kobe's still got a trophy named after him, so it's all right.
There you go, man. Salute to the Mamba, man. Second best player of all time. All you LeBron niggas, yeah, I'm talking to y'all again.
Justice on y'all neck tonight. Damn.
Oh, y'all, hey, man. It is what it is, bro.
That's funny.
Cold, nigga. Remember that. But damn, I lost track. Anything else I wanted to say about the Thunder? I just think the Thunder too strong now. We'll talk about the Western Conference Finals when that approaches, because I'm still riding with Denver, so I don't give a damn. Like, I'm still riding with them. Like, you niggas not gonna get me off my square. I'm still talking my shit. It is what it is, and yeah. But out east, let's start with the Knicks in the Pacers, man. I'll let you kick this one off since I kicked off all the West series. How you feel about the Knicks series?
So the Knicks series, so two hard fought games, won by the Knicks. Jalen Brunson is that dude. He's still playing championship basketball. He's willing that team to wins. Now, coming into, like, as I was kind of prepping for tonight's show, I'm looking at this and like, okay, if you're Indiana, from a general standpoint, there is no reason to hit the panic button, right? The home team won both home games, right? So it doesn't become a series until a road team wins. So if you're Indiana, okay, stick to the script. We're coming home. Let's just take these two games at home, take it and make it a tie series going back to New York, right? So no reason for them to hit the panic button. However, as I started to kind of look at footage like post-game press conferences and stuff that was happening, I think that the Pacers are going to become overly distracted by the questionable officiating that happened in these first two games. In my opinion, I think it's clear that there were a lot of missed calls. Well, officiating in NBA is not what it was even 10 years ago.
Man,
it's very poor. Like, they don't even call traveling anymore. They're not even watching for that anymore.
Talk about it,
man. But there was a lot of missed calls in both of those games. I think that on its face, Indiana has they've got some merit in saying that the officiating was in the Knicks' favor, right? Like, I think I heard Ernie Johnson say game 2, the Knicks made more free throws than Indiana shot, right? That's a crazy disparity. But I think that you can only bitch about that for so long before it starts to seep into your approach to the game, right? And so if you're focused on, well, now we got to go out here and play, and we're concerned about coaching. I'm sorry, we're worried about officiating. That takes away from the focus you should have on your game plan. You have a lot of these. You have this young core in Indiana that still has a lot to prove. That's not out of the series by any means. You're going home with your home crowd. You'll get this game 3. Take game 4. Take this thing back to New York. I think that if they start to focus too much on officiating and bitching too much, it's gonna end up sinking their team. So that's kind of my take on that. But if they can overcome that, get these 2 games at home
Mhm.
and take it back to New York with a tie, everything is right as it's supposed to be.
Yeah, good point. Especially with the officiating, the disparity in free throws. It's almost Laker like. Yeah, LeBron, I'm back on you, nigga.
Damn.
You niggas get so many free throws in comparison to the other team. I'm tired of watching it every year, LeBron. But yeah, back to the task at hand. uh I gotta throw jabs at y'all niggas. It's too fun, man. It's like you always open. Like it's always open, bro. 7-Eleven. But
That was hilarious.
yeah, I think the Knicks, man. Personally, this is the team that I'm rooting for in the playoffs. Like, I love the way they play basketball, man. The grit
Mhm,
they play with, man, is led by the 3 Villanova guys.
mhm,
This shit is just like I don't know, man. Just their brand of basketball. I love watching it, man. I can only hope that OG is healthy enough to come back in the Celtics series. I know he's out game 3 with a strained hamstring. We just found that
mhm.
out, I guess, earlier today.
Yeah.
Um, and he's gonna be a big part in that Celtics series, man. They have to have OG for that series. They might not need him as much this series, even though he did step up real big last night when Jalen Brunson went out in the second quarter. He was
Mhm.
able to keep them around until he
Yep.
came back in the third. So, man, hopefully that to me that ruins this. If OG cannot play against the Celtics, which I know we know the Celtics. I'm gonna keep
Mhm,
harping on this. We know the Celtics when they get hit in the mouth by a gritty team, they fold. They've shown it against Miami. They've shown it against Golden State in the finals. They showed it against Miami a couple times. I honestly,
mhm. Yep.
anytime they get hit in the mouth, they fold. I'm not expecting anything different, but the Knicks definitely need OG Anunoby to be playing.
Mhm. Yep.
Um, Brunson can only carry him so far, even though this nigga is like I said, Jalen Brunson is. You know how niggas used to say like 40 is the new 30 for your age. Like he's making 40 the new 30 in the NBA. Like this nigga hits 40 points. He rolls out of bed and gets 40 points. It's the
Yeah,
most
it's
ridiculous
true.
shit I've seen in a while. Like it's
Yeah,
crazy to watch, man. He would have had 40 again last night had he not missed the whole
yeah,
second quarter.
yeah. I think he only played 20 something minutes and still had 29 points.
Craziness, man. Like this nigga is going off. He's hitting clutch buckets. Like I'm talking about tough buckets, contested
Mhm.
buckets.
Yeah.
It's great to see, man. Dante DiVincenzo fits perfectly. I was talking to somebody else. They were like, why did Golden State let DiVincenzo go? In the NBA, much like any other sport, like the NFL, I mean, like football and the NFL, it's about fit.
Mhm. Yeah.
DiVincenzo doesn't fit as well with Golden State as he does New York. Like they play a brand of basketball that's more conducive to his style. Um,
Yeah.
Classic 3-and-D guy. They that's all they need with Jalen Brunson running the show. Josh Hart is
Mhm.
the hustle, grab the loose balls, get the rebounds. Josh Hart does all the in-between shit.
Yeah.
DiVincenzo is a good defender. He's a 3-and-D guy. He's reliable. He has a perfect role for their system and what they do and what Tom Thibodeau does. He
Yeah.
doesn't fit as well on Golden State.
And Josh Hart, another guy that Golden State let go, right? So this is a
Uh-huh.
lot of great players have been through that system. So
Right, man. So, and obviously the Villanova connection. These guys just they mesh.
mhm.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like you can't that all plays a part into why Dante DiVincenzo is so effective with New York. Like it's not just because it's not Golden State's fault that he just doesn't play as well in Golden State. They have a whole different system, a whole different ecosystem. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, Villanova. So that's one of those programs where that players coming. So there's a few programs: Villanova, Duke, UConn. Those are
Mhm,
the three that immediately come to mind. Players that come out of these programs, they're going to have a high basketball IQ. They're
mhm.
going to absolutely play their ass off,
Motor.
right? They're going to give max effort every single night. They know how to play the game, right?
Mhm.
And you just when you get players out of those schools, they're going to know how to play basketball. They're going to give you max effort every night.
Yep.
I think though, I love how Tom Thibodeau has his team playing defense. I love the system that he's implemented. I think the problem we're going to run into is these rotations are too short for the Knicks. I think Josh Hart played 48 minutes the other night.
Yeah.
Like that's so there's a correlation between how short your rotations are, how much your injuries pile up, right?
Right.
These guys have already played a full regular season. They've played a very difficult physical series against in the first round against the Sixers, like very emotional and physically draining. And
Mhm.
now they've won two really hard fought games against the Pacers. One of your top players is out now. Like there's
Yeah.
gonna have to be some changes to the rotations and get these guys a little bit more rest during the games because this is only the second round of playoffs. There's two rounds
Right.
to go. You're not gonna have any legs left if you don't give these guys at least a little bit of rest.
Yeah. It definitely becomes a war of attrition, especially when you rotating 7 guys. They've recently started playing Precious Ochoa a little bit more, so that kind of
Yeah.
extended it to 8 people. But yeah, something's gonna have to be done about that. The Bogdanovich injury definitely hurt them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It definitely hurt them.
Yep.
Like how Julius Randle's injury helped them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go figure.
Mhm.
But they that's another thing they have to figure out what they're gonna do with Julius Randle. I don't know I'm not familiar with his contract situation, so I'm not in a position to say.
Mhm.
But they definitely have to move him. If he's not up after this year, they definitely have to move him and figure out if they can add some more pieces because he's a I think he has trade value. He has decent trade value.
Mhm. Yep.
So they'll be able to get stronger in the offseason by just simply moving him. And I'm sure his contract is pretty big. So they'll get a little cap relief.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. So so next year is his last year of his contract at 30 million.
Yeah.
Then he has a player option in 26 for 32.4.
Yeah.
So so they've basically got he's got basically 2 more years because he'll opt in most likely.
Hmm.
Actually, they're saying he may opt out to try to test the market.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see. But the Knicks won't be in control of that situation for another 2 years. So
Right. So yeah, so depending on how this playoff run transpires, like let's just say hypothetically, I mean, they win this series and they go to the East Finals, and they're actually successful in the East Finals, but they fall short to the Celtics. Let's just say that, right? Let's just say they lose 4-2 to the Celtics. Having that type of success in the playoffs, what do you do next year with Julius Randle? Like, do you bring him back and run the risk of him fucking up the chemistry that they got going, or do you try to move him and elevate, try to get to the next level? So those are questions the GM is gonna have to answer.
yeah, I mean, I think you move him to try to get more size. That's what I personally think they should do.
Mhm.
Try to get you an anchor in the middle.
Mhm.
Get a little bit more size. That's what I would do.
Right.
I know he's a big guy, but I would
He's
want someone.
undersized for his position though, for
Yeah,
sure.
but I would, that's what I would do is just try to get some equity for him because that is a massive contract. So try to get some equity if you
Right.
can. But
I think that's the biggest thing, that cap relief they could possibly get from that.
right.
I like Isaiah Hartenstein. I like him. I really do. I like
Mhm.
him as a backup though. I don't think he's a starting center for a championship team,
Yeah.
but he's a
Yeah.
very, very, very good backup.
Definitely agree. And again, that's potentially another landing spot for Zubox. Like I like
Yeah.
Zubox a lot. As just a serviceable center, big dude,
Hard-nosed
defense.
rebounder.
Yeah, like that's a great trade if you can get it done. I don't see why Julius wouldn't want to play in LA with all those guys, but you don't know what these guys like. You don't know what
Right.
their motivations are, right? But
True.
what we do know is I think the expectation was for Randall to be the guy in New
Mhm.
York, and clearly he's not.
No.
New
No.
York has a guy now, and
Yeah.
he's the one that's going to get paid all the money. So we'll see what happens.
And Julius Randle, to me, he just takes looks away from other guys. Like, he's a ball stopper. You know how they used to say about Carmelo, he's a ball stopper. Well, Carmelo was a high level ball stopper.
Right. Yep.
Julius Randle is not. Like, he's a black hole. You know what I mean? Pause.
Right. I don't think that was a pause. That's like a
I gotta throw it in there. Niggas is judgmental these days. You gotta throw it in there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not taking no risk with these niggas. Like, you heard what he said? Nah.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I think they do have to move Randle. And you know who I think would be real good for them, honestly? I don't know how they'd be able to get him, but if they could possibly get Steven Adams from Houston, no, we just traded him to Houston. But if they could get somebody like Steven Adams, he could be healthy.
Yeah,
man, that type of offensive rebounding with New York, invaluable, man.
Totally agree. I think that could be an attractive trade for Houston, because with every all this we talked to last week about all the success they had, especially the run at the end. Ime's doing some special things down there. That could be something attractive that Houston want to take on. Now, I don't know what the cap situation is going to be,
right?
And you got to figure out if Dylan Brooks is really going to be that that supermax dude or not. So they got some stuff to figure out down there. They got some stuff to figure out. But if you trade for Julius Randle, the premonition will become that's your supermax dude, right? So, but it's intriguing.
Julius Randle and Dylan Brooks on the same roster is like super diabolical. These are two of the most selfish niggas on planet Earth. And
it's going to be like when what's his name? Number 8 used to play for the Celtics. What's his damn name?
For the Celtics, you said?
Yeah. He wore number 8. He played with Paul Pierce back in the 2000s.
Antoine Walker?
Yeah, it's when Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce played together. Like, that was a disaster.
They was getting their numbers, though. Like, them niggas, if nobody else was doing anything, like, them niggas was getting their numbers. Tippy Toe was shooting that shit. Like, they used to call him Antoine Tippy Toe Walker.
Yeah, but the Celtics ain't even get close to winning anything until after he left. So
yeah, that shit was that was a horrible fit. But they was getting their numbers, though. Him and Paul Pierce was going crazy every night.
Yep.
Shout out to Antoine Walker too, man. I know about the gambling stories, but Michael Jordan, he used to be out gambling with Michael Jordan and gamble all his money away, try to keep up with Mike.
That's a bad man. If you're gonna gamble with Jordan, you gotta play like golf or some shit where he's not that good at. But
them niggas was at the casino going crazy, like
table games.
Walker, yeah.
No, man. I'm not crazy. Someone with this Michael Jordan is like the Batman of the NBA. Like his will to win. Like somebody has that much mental acuity and focus and stubbornness. Like you don't want to play any table game with him. Because he's that dude that'll make you play all night until you get his money back.
You took the words on my mouth. He gonna egg you on. Like, yeah, man, fuck you can win. Like with a cigar and all that shit. Like, yeah, Mike, you a demon, bro. Mike is a demon. Shout out to Michael Jordan, man. This is a Michael Jordan safe space here.
Oh,
man.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so yeah, shout out to all them boys, man. Antoine Walker, they had a little gambling crew, like Charles Barkley, all them niggas. Like it was Charles Oakley, all of them. But yeah, that's that 90s, that 90s NBA on NBC 90s, man.
Yeah, man. I'll never forget the documentary they did that was The Last Dance. It was a playoff game. It might have been a finals game. Mike walks in. He's got some Kenny Lattimore playing, like the new album that hadn't even come out yet. He got Kenny Lattimore playing. He's like, yeah, I woke up this morning. I had one cigar. I'm like, damn, you smoked a cigar before practice? Damn.
I can have a cigar with the Wheaties. Mike a demon. Like
you smoked a cigar before you went to practice during a finals game. Holy shit.
He used to have cigar. Like I used to hear stories about him like being like in the player parking lot, like sitting on like the roof, like on the hood of his car. Like when the niggas pull up, like who guard me tonight? This nigga got a cigar. Like damn, like Mike was them stories is legendary.
Dude, man. You talk about it, intimidation, bro. Like man, like how do you like I remember so when Iverson, so last story about MJ, Iverson's Hall of Fame speech, he talked about the first time that he played Michael Jordan.
Mhm.
He got on the court and he said he saw that nigga's aura.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that story.
Like, what do you do? Like, you've been watching this guy play your whole childhood. You get on the court with him and you see that nigga's aura. Shit, man.
And that's Bubba Chuck. Like, this ain't no regular nigga saying this. Like, this is
Right.
Bubba Chuck, bro. VA's finest, man.
Yeah. All right. That's
Yeah.
that's all I got to say about that.
But yeah, long story short, the Knicks, I think the Knicks will win. I don't know if I
Yeah.
had them in 5 or 6, but one of them though. It's ended in 5 or 6. I think
Yeah.
if I had to lean one way or another, I'd say 5. I think they'll
I'm
get
leaning
it.
towards 6 only because the Anunoby injury. I don't know how much
Yeah.
is going to mess with things. So yeah, but I say 6, but I still have the Knicks winning.
Yeah, the injury does add a level of uncertainty, but
Yep.
I'll stick with 5. I think I'll stick with 5.
All right.
Yeah. Last but not least, Boston and Cleveland. I don't know the update on the shit. I ain't really been keeping up with it since we've been on.
Cleveland's up 12 going into the 4th.
Cleveland is up 12.
Cleveland's up 12, 90-78.
Look, see
into the 4th quarter.
See what I mean about Boston? Y'all niggas, I'm always right, man. Y'all gonna learn that. Except for this one time where I'm gonna address after we talk about this. That's another story. But yeah, Boston, them niggas be choking, man. Like I don't. And Cleveland is not that good of a team, man. They're just not. Like they're just not. I don't trust Donovan Mitchell. To me, he's a first round nigga. I think I was talking about that with somebody else the other day. He's a first round type of nigga. Like if you letting Donovan Mitchell kill you in the second round, you got a problem.
Well, he's got through 3 quarters, he's got 22 points, shooting 7-15. He's got 6 assists, 6 so he's having a good night, like shooting decently. Just looking at his stat sheet, haven't watched the game obviously, but
with Jason Tatum trash ass doing 6 for 15,
6 for 15, yeah. So
7 rebounds, 6 assists.
Which he's playing. That's how he's been playing the whole playoffs. So that is he's not playing above or below his normal level for this year's playoffs.
Just regular.
That's exactly where he is. I also like to look at plus minus. I know it's not like the biggest stat in the world.
It matters though.
He's a minus 13. Jaylen Brown's a minus 16. Derek White is kind of a surprise. He's a minus 18, shooting 3 for 10. So he's definitely having an off night. In fact, I would argue that's the difference in the game is him being off.
See, that might be, and that's what I was saying before, man. Like Derek White has been outperforming Jason Tatum in these playoffs. In the one game where he doesn't show up, now we have this. This is why I don't trust Jason Tatum, man. All you Jason Tatum fans, I'm gonna give these niggas all the same smoke I would give LeBron James, man. Like Jason Tatum fans swear by Jason Tatum, and I just don't see it. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
I just don't see it.
I think so. There's every championship team. I was trying to think of an example of that. I was trying to figure out if I could disagree with myself on this. Every championship team has always had that one dude. Right? You go back as far as you want to go. There's always been that one dude. Now, the Lakers in the 80s, they had that one dude, but they had 4 dudes that could be that one dude. Right? So that team was stacked, right? Kind of an exception. Even if you want to talk about the 04 Pistons, right? And we've had this discussion. There's not a single Hall of Famer on that team, but
Ben Wallace.
Mr. Brown on the bench was that dude. Right? So so yeah, he's the Hall of Famer on that team. He was that dude, right?
Ben Wallace made it though.
Oh, he's in the Hall of Fame now?
Yeah, he made it.
Oh, well, congratulations. I did not know that.
But he's the only one. He's the only one though.
I mean, well deserved. But that's every team has always had that one dude. It's like a quarterback in football. Like they tell you, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any, right? Like if you have 2 starting quarterbacks, you don't have any. That's what the Celtics are. They've got 2 starting quarterbacks, right? which means they don't really have any. And as much as the media is trying to make Tatum that dude, as much as he wants to be that dude,
He not.
he's not. He's Scottie Pippen. He's never gonna be that dude. Like, it's just not in him. Now, these playoffs, he's got an opportunity to prove everybody wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem that I have with that is, if the Celtics win the title, it's not gonna be because Jason Tatum played out of his mind.
Right.
It's gonna be because he didn't commit that many turnovers, and Derek White took the game over. That's
Mhm.
going to be the way they win the championship.
Right.
So he's probably going to get a lot of credit for the win, even though he's not really playing that well in the entire playoffs.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, he has probably the best complementary players in the damn league. Like, he got Kristaps Porzingis, he got Jaylen Brown, he got Derek White, he got Drew Holiday that nobody even talks about anymore.
Right.
So when you
Yeah.
got those level of complementary players, you're supposed to, in all honesty, they are supposed to be the team that wins the championship. Like, when you look at roster for roster, those guys are supposed to win the championship. But I will never say that because I don't trust Jason Tatum. I don't trust the leader. If I don't trust the leader, then I mean, they've shown me every single year what I need to expect. And I'm not gonna go. It's the same shit every year. I tell these niggas: Embiid, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell. Now they just happen to be playing each other this year. So I mean, you know, somebody got to win. But those three in particular in the East, no.
Right. Yeah.
I don't trust none of them.
Yeah.
And you know, James Harden, he on that list too. Russell Westbrook on that list. There's a handful of guys I can name that just, when it comes to the playoffs, I'm not putting my faith in them at all. They don't deserve it.
You know, the Clippers is like
them too.
They're just, it's hilarious. You know, when you look at the moves that the front office has made in LA, these are people who, well, they're probably too old to have played 4K, but these are people who play like NBA Live, and that's all they know about basketball. Is like, oh, let's just put all these players rated 92 on the same team, and we'll be great. Not really considering how that chemistry really works and how you're actually going to get those pieces to fit together, right? It's just hilarious. Like, okay, let's just keep signing all these former MVPs and just throw the ball out there and, you know, hope they win. You know?
Yeah. I don't get the thought process behind that. Like, if you put this Clippers team together in 2011, like, I'd be like, oh shit,
right?
Like, this could be something. But all these niggas past their prime. What are you doing? Like, they're all aging guys in a league that's ran by the young niggas. Like, look at all the young guys coming up in the league. The countless young under 25 and under guys. And you think Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and Russell. First of all, Russell Westbrook and James Harden should never be on the same team.
Right. Yes.
That
Agreed.
right there that's already a recipe for disaster without even adding nothing else to it.
Yeah.
They've been on the same team a couple times. It's just like, I don't understand what these GMs be doing. Y'all get paid so much money to do nothing. Like, let me and Ben, we used to talk about this all the time. Let us run a franchise. Like, come on, man. I hired a scouting department. We could make this happen, man.
We can do this, man. I'll do your analytics. You know, I got it.
Man, what? You crunch the numbers, man. Like, I could pick the guys. You could do the numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Get the rotations together, do the plus minus, all that shit. Yeah, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I wouldn't even charge you that much. Let's pay me $250. That's all I need.
2-3 years, we have a championship roster. I'm fully and I'm dead ass serious. Like, this is not even a joke. Like, I'm dead serious. Man, we could construct a championship roster within 2 or 3 years, man. It don't take that damn long to do nothing. I don't understand all these franchises that have been in poverty, all these poverty level franchises for 10 plus years. Sacramento comes to mind.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like, come on, man. Like, what kind of basketball operations are you running up there? It's just it's not that hard.
For any NBA executives might be watching this show, right? I'm just gonna be optimistic. Who knows who's watching?
Facts.
Now, I haven't discussed these numbers with Justin. I just came up with these off the top of my head. Hire us into your front office to do your scouting and your analytics. I don't know what the going rate for that is, but we now just pay us a base salary of 50,000. Give us our benefits, 50,000 base salary. We will take a commission of $10,000 per win. That's all you got to pay us, 10,000 per win. So if the team gets 50 wins, give us our $500,000 each plus our 50,000 base and all our benefits, and we'll be good. Now, if your team don't improve, then that's cool, and then or we'll take commission based off of how far they go in the playoffs. So each playoff game we win, pay us 50,000. We won't take any money. Just pay us 50,000 for each playoff win. And
3 years.
Just give that 3 years.
We don't have a championship level team by 3 years. Wash your hands with us.
Yeah, we'll go right back to corporate America.
but yeah,
because it's not hard. Like it's not hard to be able to look at the product and be able to understand how these things are supposed to work together, right? It's not difficult, especially the level of coaching that we have in the NBA now, right? Just you have players. A lot of these coaches played an entire career in the modern NBA, so they've got a really good understanding of how these rotations are supposed to work, how to incorporate the 3-point shot, how to draw fouls and play with pace, and they have on top of the X's and O's, they have a way to relate and connect with the players. Like, we think about like a Tyronn Lue. He's gonna be like, he guarded Allen Iverson in the finals. Like, that is critical, like playoff experience that he's bringing into his coaching. Like,
exactly.
Doc Rivers is not a great coach, but he's got valuable experience as a player, right? Like, he can connect with these guys in a way that a lot of your old school coaches could. Like Red Auerbach, I don't think he ever even dribbled a basketball.
No, he don't. He damn sure don't look like it. That's for sure.
Chuck Daly, I don't think he ever actually played the sport. The Van Gundy's never played the sport.
No, you could look at Jeff Van Gundy and tell he never touched a basketball. I don't know what the fuck, man.
Jeff and Stan, ain't neither one of them touched a basketball.
Yeah.
But I mean, so anyway, that's
I love the pitch. I love the pitch though. Like that's the realest shit. That's the realest segment we've had on Fly Free Sports. I can remember.
We're serious. It's like, yeah. I will quit my job tomorrow if y'all give me a contract.
Like right now. Like right now. I'm dead serious. Like that. Yeah.
Well, I need to put it in 2-week notice still in case things don't work out, because I like my boss. So I don't want to do him like that. But shit, I know that don't matter to you.
No, at 10,000 a win, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out on the fly. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I like that proposal, but that's real shit. You heard it here. So, contact number is.
Hey, just drop a comment. Justin will get in touch with you.
Yeah, man. And this is like we talked about this years ago, so this is not some shit that's just like spur of the moment. So
right.
I genuinely believe that. I really do. So yeah, holla at us. But what were we saying? Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is not that guy. And speaking of not that guy, man, I really let this nigga off the hook last week. And I went back and watched our show from last week, and I realized I didn't address it the way I needed it to be addressed. Kevin Durant.
Uh-oh.
Listen, man. I know niggas like, we talk a lot of shit about James Harden, his shortcomings and what have you. But Kevin Durant minus Golden State is James Harden. I've said this on a number of occasions. This is my first time probably saying it on the show. I have to go back and remember, but Kevin Durant is James Harden, if not for the Golden State Warriors.
Yep.
He is. Look at the resume. Didn't win before. perennial playoff blunder, flame out, whatever you want to call it. Every year, he's gonna do the same thing. He's gonna get his numbers until the games get critical. Then that's it. Season over. Countless times. We've seen it in OKC countless times. Got to a finals with James Harden, ironically, on the roster the first time.
Yep.
They both have an MVP trophy to their name. A ton of empty calories for stats. You know, it looks good. You know, they put up the numbers. They're gonna be talked about in regular seasons every single year until we get to the playoffs, and then they're both gonna fall. They're literally the same. Like, their games are different. Don't get me wrong. Their games are completely different. But as far as it pertains to success and, you know, lack thereof in the playoffs, they're the same guy. Like, if not for Steph Curry, Kevin Durant owes him everything.
Yep.
And I think people used to get it fucked up, like it was the other way around. Like, Steph Curry, he never wins those championships if Kevin Durant don't come to town. Now, how can you even say some shit like that when he won before then? And now we know, we have evidence that he won after.
Right.
So that, I'm glad that part is put to bed at least. Now we can start to attack the real issues, man. And basically, that this year was ridiculous. Like, you made me, first of all, you made me have the worst take I've ever had on this goddamn channel. And you're responsible for me believing in you. Like, I picked y'all to win 4-1 and you got swept. I got to go back to my videos and look at myself like, what the fuck are you? What is he talking about? Like, I don't like to look bad in front of people. Like, I don't know about nobody else, but I don't like to look bad in front of people. Man, people just click my shit and have me saying Kevin Durant gonna win 4-1 when you just got dominated. Like, you didn't. Now I gotta live. I'll never live this shit down. Like, I really, like, I meant to address this last week, and it's just been bothering me throughout the week that I didn't. So I had to say it. Like, Brad Beal, you could go ahead and fucking retire, bro. Like,
yeah. Damn. Just hang up the jersey.
Just hang up the jersey, bro. Hang up the J's or whatever you wear on the court. Like, it's time, my nigga. Like,
you be Gilbert Arenas co-host on his podcast.
It's time. It's time, bro. Brad Beal, I don't know what the hell. Like, maybe we ain't been paying attention because you've been in Washington all these years, but that shit you put out there, especially in that last game, like the last 3-4 minutes of that game, like, you single-handedly lost that game. I'm giving Kevin Durant a lot of shit for this, but that game 4 in particular, when y'all got swept, you were the main culprit. Like, in that game, Devin Booker went fucking bananas. He had like 49 points. Kevin Durant had a pretty good game, but you, my man, like, you could go back to Washington with Jordan Clarkson and what's the nigga name? Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole and Kuzma. You could go play with them niggas. Like,
you know, it's I'm gonna talk about Beal. I'm gonna get back to the Suns. I don't know if it was Carmelo. I heard a player talk about there's a big difference between being the guy and getting all the shots and being able to score 25 and 30 points than you were formerly that guy, but now you have to come off the bench and you're getting 15 or 20 minutes and you have to have the same rate of production across those 15 minutes. Like, it's really hard. People talk about Steve Kerr as an example. Steve Kerr is probably the most efficient basketball player in NBA history, right? Because he can sit on the bench the whole fourth quarter, come in the last 2 minutes of the game and hit the elbow three to beat the Suns, right? Like, that's people do not fully appreciate how hard it is to sit on the bench for 3/4 of the game and come in and hit a shot like that with all of those stakes and everything else. Like, how good of a shooter you have to be to hit that shot. Like, that's incredible, right? So I think with Beal, I think that's the issue with him is he doesn't know how to play basketball when he has limited touches. And there's a lot of players that are in the league that are like that. Um, I think that all of the stars on the Suns, I think, are like that. I don't think that
Mhm.
Devin Booker knows how to play with limited touches. Kevin Durant doesn't know how to play with limited touches. I don't. I mean, he knows how. He showed that he knew. He showed that he knew how when he was at Golden State because he didn't
Mhm.
get the same level of touches. But obviously, he wasn't happy winning championships as the second option on the team.
But he was the first option though. Like
That's right. The last year, yeah, the year he won MVP, he was a number one option. But he even that he wasn't happy. I'm the number one option. I'm on a back-to-back team. I know that if I resign, we'll be the first team to 5-peat in NBA history. And I know I do not count the Celtics from the 60s because as my boy JJ said, they played against plumbers, right? So I don't count Bill Russell's Celtics from the 60s because there's only 8 teams. So you already had
Right.
a 12% chance to win the championship already.
Mhm.
But yeah, that team wins 5 in a row if KD stays there. Now, Draymond would have had to get traded because there's no way they were going to get along and
Mm-mm.
coexist. They
Mm-mm.
would have had to trade Draymond, but they would have won 5 championships in a row. Anyway, I think the other thing, and I meant to talk about this. I'm glad you circled back to it. How many coaches is KD going to get fired before he retires?
About the same number as LeBron James.
Oh, God damn. You should title this session "Fuck You, LeBron."
Like Kevin Hart did Tom Brady. Fuck you, Tom. You saw the roast?
Nah, man. Everybody telling me about it. I gotta go back and
Yeah,
watch it.
it's hilarious.
I knew it had to be funny when I had a meeting with my boss. He was like, "Did you see the Tom Brady roast?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, now my boss is talking about it. I got to watch it."
Yeah, they went crazy. Like 3 hours too. Like
Damn. Damn. Yeah, my boss is telling me they had like Aaron Hernandez jokes. I'm like, God damn.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that was years ago.
It was
But
plenty of them jokes.
damn. All right. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
It's on Netflix.
All right, yeah. I'll definitely check it out. So, it's just sad because what the hell is Frank Vogel supposed to do? Like what how how do you not how are you Frank Vogel and not get fired in that situation? Like, he's playing the hand that he was dealt. Like, you're watching the players play. You're watching
Right.
the team execute on the court, and they're horrible. Like
The pieces
like
just don't fit. Like
they don't. And it's like, well, I know you can't necessarily fire players as easily as you can coaches, but like, what are y'all doing? Like, this is not. I don't know.
it's just yeah, like it's the GM gives you this shit and it's like here, this is what you got to work with. Like they don't even have a point guard. Them niggas don't have a point guard on their team.
Nope.
They don't run an offense. Like
Right.
I don't know, man. It's that whole experiment. I don't understand how they could even bring that back next year. That is a crime if they bring that same fucking roster back next. This is not gonna work. And I
Yeah.
think I mentioned it last week with the GM coming out saying like he's pretty much like content with what they got going, what they're building, and this is like, man, this is why we're needed. That whole segment you just did, shit like that is why we're needed. Like I don't understand it. It's like these niggas got money and they think they. How long y'all been around the league and putting rosters together and shuffling shit around? I don't understand why you can't get it right. I don't understand that. Like you've seen so much basketball. This is your
Yeah.
job. This ain't even my fucking job to do this, and I can
Right.
see it.
Yeah. I think there's another element here, which is what does the owner actually want? What does Steve Ballmer act? I'm sorry, he's not the owner of it. Yeah, he's
Steve
not the
Ballmer
owner of
is
the
the
Suns. I'm
Clippers.
thinking
He's the
about the
Clippers.
Clippers, but
Yeah.
what does the owner of that team actually want? Right? Does the owner of the team actually want to win a championship? Or does the owner of the team want to maximize profits? because those two things do not always run in the same lane,
Mm-mm.
right?
We
LA
seen that,
Clippers,
right?
right? Case in point, right? That is a massively profitable team and has been for a long time, but they've never been anywhere close to winning a championship.
Mm-mm.
But they still sell games out, right? Um, because of the way that that team has been run. Um, so it comes down to what ownership really is trying to do. And you see this a lot in NFL as well, where it's very clear that while all the owners will say that they want to win a Super Bowl, it's very clear that what they really care about the most is making money. And
The bottom line.
they also are petty. Like billionaires are petty as hell. Like they take things personally. That's why you see a lot of players getting blackballed in these sports, is because maybe they said something, or they
Right.
they got out of line, or there wasn't an agreement with leadership.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Mark Jackson lost his job at Golden State. All the progress that they were making, all the momentum they had, and you fire a coach after the successful season that they had. It's because people in the front office wanted him to do things differently, and he didn't agree with their philosophy, so they fired him. And then they hired Steve Kerr and basically ran the same system that they ran and won a
Right.
championship.
Yep.
Right? You see that happen like all the time. But Doug Collins should have won that first championship for the Bulls. Like they fired him after I think the 1990 season or 1989 season, when they were coming up, when they were making all that progress.
Right.
Then
Right.
Phil comes in and the rest is history. Now, I'm not going to say that Phil was a bad hire, but I think that Doug got the short end of the stick when it
Same
comes to that.
thing. John Gruden, Tony Dungy. We saw the NFL too. Same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's just one of those things where what really are your motivations? And especially with basketball, it's more so prevalent in football, because we have a new coach. There's like a whole new offense you have to install, and it takes time for
Right.
people to figure out. Basketball, the learning curve, I don't think is quite as steep,
It's not.
but it's still, like, for example, if you're hiring a Tom Thibodeau, the style they play is very different. It's kind of a niche style of play. So the learning curve is going to be a little bit steeper than if you're going from like uh a lot of these teams that are, if you're going from like a Nick D'Antoni to like a Steve Kerr,
Mm-hmm.
that's more similar play style, so it's not that much of a learning curve. But depending
Right.
upon like what coach you're bringing in, like if you bring in Doc Rivers, nobody knows what the hell anybody's doing, right? So it's going to take time for these players to adjust, and you got to figure out how do we how do you make your roster fit the style of play that you
Mm-hmm.
want to do, right? And that's the problem that we see with the Suns and like these other teams. You have players that don't fit together in any offense, and they may have strengths or weaknesses that don't mesh with the way you're trying to play basketball.
Yeah.
So
It's just, it's organizationally, I think a lot of teams just have problems just finding right fits for whatever reason. Like coaches, philosophies, players, they just is and Phoenix is a prime example of just nothing fits. Like none of that shit works. The
mhm,
roster doesn't work. The way they're being coached doesn't work. I mean, it's just a combination of all of it. So I don't know who the hell they're gonna hire now that they fired Frank Vogel, but it really does not matter as long as these guys are still in the positions they're in. It's just you're shuffling coaches in and out, like that's gonna make that problem is not coaching, like
right,
like you said before. It's just what did you want him to do?
right, exactly.
So and it's just so I just find that so crazy that we're spectators. We see this. You're with the organization every single day. I mean, you have access to see these guys train, practice together. You watch them preseason games, you watch them in training camp, you watch them year round, 82 games. How much evidence do you need to come to a conclusion that it doesn't work? It's just we cannot. I say this all the time. We cannot be smarter than the guys who are making the decisions for these billion-dollar corporations. It's mind-boggling to me. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, it's also they. I would not be surprised if they get a lot of pressure from other members of the front office to play certain players a certain number of minutes, or okay, Julius Randle's getting paid 30 million, so we got to give him X number of minutes, or he's going to be unhappy, he's going to
Yeah, I
leave.
mean that happens though. We know that happens. Like if
Yeah.
somebody's getting paid at a premium, they're gonna be on the floor. Like that's just
Right.
it is what it is. They have to see a return on their investment somehow. But
Yeah. So there's a lot of that, also that gets played. And then some people are they just have blind spots where they think something is great when it's not. And it's hard for them to see differently because they may have a really close relationship with a
Mhm.
player. And so if you really like somebody or you've been working with them a long time, it can be very easy for you to be bamboozled into thinking that
Right.
they're great when they're not. Right. And it's hard to fire your friends, right? You get close to people.
Mhm.
It's hard for you to fire somebody that you really like. And
Mhm.
it's hard for you to stay objective about what their performance is. It's a lot of shit because that's when
Right.
you start to get corporate and
Yeah.
that shit starts to get crazy.
Yeah. Agreed. And it's not to say Kevin Durant isn't a great player. He's just for one, he's an aging great player. He's not a
Mhm.
young superstar anymore. I think the days of building a team around Kevin Durant is over.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, even at his best, was a scorer. He's never really
Mhm.
been like a big rebounder, a great defensive player. At his core, he's always been primarily just that scorer. That when you need a
Mhm.
bucket, Kevin
Yep.
Durant. And the league is past that right now. There's plenty of guys out there just getting buckets. Like we could name off 100 motherfuckers in the league right now that could just go out there and get buckets. So
Yep. Yep.
as special as he is, he's not as special in today's NBA.
Right.
That is over. So some reconstructing definitely needs to be done in Phoenix, to say the least. Like I said, they can start with Beal and get something. I'm sure Beal still has some kind of value, and he's getting paid a shit ton of money. I think he might have a no trade clause in his contract though, which is wild. But yeah, so I guess that's on them to figure out. Cut the nigga. I don't know. Take the cap hit. Do what you got to do just to improve the roster, but stop wasting years behind shit that you know is not going to work. That's the bottom line.
Yep. For sure.
Pretty much all I had to say about that, though.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got off your chest.
Yeah, because that really pissed me off. Looking back at myself, look stupid, man. Picking them niggas to win, like that is horrible. Like I can have an excuse for Memphis because the injuries. Like we saw what happened
Right.
this year with the rash of injuries that we had. So my
Yep.
pick for them going deep into the playoffs. All right, cool. I'll wear that, but shit happened to where that wasn't possible. Now these niggas were on the floor.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Making me look bad. So yeah, fuck y'all.
So I think what this so KD and the league in general, like you say, he's an aging superstar. And he's an aging superstar in a league that doesn't have a gatekeeper or a dynasty team that has to be knocked off the mountaintop, right?
Mhm.
So Golden State was that team. They officially have been dethroned, and they will, unless they make some major moves, they will never get back there.
Curtains.
They're over. It's over for them. It clearly is not Denver, not at this stage. Now, if they miraculously come back in the series and pull off another championship, they go back to back, then you could say,
The
okay,
discussion could start.
yeah, they're now the trolls sitting on top of the hill. But as it stands right now, the league is wide open. There isn't anyone to knock off, and this is the first time that it's been that way in a long time, right?
Mhm.
I mean, how far back do we have to go? I think because it was before Golden State, it was the Heat when LeBron was there, and then before that, it was the Spurs.
Mhm.
Before that, it was the Bulls. So it's been a really long time since we've had
Forget the Lakers. Lakers was in there early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s. Right. So there was always a troll on the mountain that had to be dethroned, right? Going all the way back to the 70s. But we're entering this era of basketball where that's not really the case anymore. And you got teams that are jockeying for position to be that troll, and it's not going to be your best player can't be 35, right?
No.
It's not. That's not the formula.
Nope.
Your best player better be 27 and under if you're really going to become that new troll. So I mean, now Jokic sitting with these 3 MVPs. There's a good argument there, but they just got their shit pushed in,
Right.
so they're gonna have to really bring it in order to start that discussion. So, but I mean, at the same time, with a GM, you're saddled with these aging superstars and these massive contracts. You're limited in what you really can do. So, it's gonna be hard.
It's like, man, get their ass out of there. I mean, like, my thing is like, how many years? Like, how many years do you have to waste? You know for a fact that Kevin Durant. We can all see that, right? Kevin Durant is an aging superstar that's past his prime. He had an Achilles injury, and this is not to say that he's still not great,
right?
But the value, he still holds value, and you can get value for him. Like, you can rebuild, you can start to rebuild your roster just by moving Kevin Durant if you do it the right way. Like, you can't just accept anything for him. Obviously, he's too good of a player.
Yep.
But you can take the steps to start rebuilding your franchise without wasting all these years saddled with these contracts and these aging superstars and letting them have farewell tours and all that shit, and start the process. Like, how they Philly started the process. They shit ain't shit either, but get the process started and let's go. Like, I just don't believe in wasting time, man. Like, wasting year after year and you expecting a different result. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me. I know they tried something different this year by bringing Beal in, but okay, we saw it clearly didn't work. Year 1, we saw that. We have no reason to believe year 2 will be any different. So why waste that time?
Yeah, you said it all.
It's just like I like, it's too much time wasted. The Giants do that shit and it pisses me off. Like, I always bring myself to another point. It's just like, I can't stand wasted years. We don't have all these fucking years to just be waiting for people to develop, and maybe if he stays injury free this year, and come on, man, let's keep it moving. I'll be more of a progressive GM. More, I'm not gonna be reactionary. We're gonna be on the offensive. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's just, I don't know. I just get tired of seeing it year after year with these teams, man. Go another route.
You said it all, brother.
Well, yeah, man. Me and Ben were dead ass serious about that job, man. And I know we ain't the most, I could put a suit on and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah,
I own a couple.
Yeah, man. I won't even curse. I won't do none of that. I'll represent your franchise in an exemplary manner. I'll get up there. Yeah, man, holla at us, man. We got sense. You know what I mean? Like, I could speak with the best of them, man. I'll write you a good article.
We got good looking wives already.
Yeah, man. We'll look good at the press conference. You know what I mean? Like, show up with the kids for the photo op, all that. You know what I mean?
All that. Yep. For sure.
But yeah, man. Another dope ass episode, man. Ben, as always, man. Fly Free Sports. Yeah, and I gotta put it out there again every week, man. You niggas pull up, take your medicine, and you can go on back to where you came from. You heard?
And Chase still got some explaining to do. I don't know where the hell he is.
We're gonna get Chase back. Yeah, he definitely got to explain these Clippers, man. Like, I told the nigga, I said either or Paul George or Kawhi is not gonna play in the playoffs. And what happened? You can set your watch to it, man.
Like, damn, like Kawhi just, I don't know, like put on a new pair of New Balance or something. Like, shit, dude.
He cooked, man. He cooked. I talk about Bradley Beal, but he another nigga that need to retire. He need to retire, man. It's over. It's over, bro. I don't care Like, I don't care what you do in the regular season. They gonna say, "Oh, Kawhi had a 10-game stretch of 26 points per game." Who cares, man? Who gives a damn? Like, it doesn't matter.
He reminds. I don't know. He's just a weirdo. Like, I don't know, man.
Full-blooded weirdo.
He just. That's another discussion for another day.
Yeah, like I said, when Chase come, yeah, we'll talk more about that on that episode. Sure. I'm gonna hit him up though for sure.
Yep.
Whether that's next week or the week after, whatever. But you gonna explain this, nigga.
Yeah, man.
But like I said, man, another week, man, another success. Yeah, man, we just gonna keep going, just keep moving, keep doing our thing. Y'all like, share, subscribe, man. Hit the like button, man. It don't cost shit. It don't cost nothing to hit the like button, show love, post the link, anything, man. Like whatever you could do, man. We trying to build up the, you know what I'm saying, build up the subscribers and all that. So until next week, man, we out.